Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're starting a series for a game called Tacoma. This came out in 2017 from Fulbright, so it is the next game from the creators of Gone Home, which I'd highly recommend checking out that playlist on my YouTube channel and watching me go through that game because I I really just tortured myself completely, and I think the story writers intentionally set it up that way so that you would think that Gone Home was a horror game in which there would be a spooky monster that would jump out and scare you, and then throughout the entirety of the experience, there literally is just nothing. It is just a normal story, which, on the face of it, it was a really well written story, so it worked well for that. But if Fulbright as a company is just going to be about narratives that are slightly interactive, that's going to be a little awkward. So we're hoping for a little bit more interaction and a little bit more of a like important level of interaction that happens in Tacoma. I know that at some point there was some kind of schism between some of the people that worked at Fulbright because they went off and created a different company called Dim Bulb. However, Fulbright still exists, and they are working on their third game, which is a game that seems mostly around the idea of telling a narrative of riding in cars and talking to people. So it seems like that is probably the way they make games. Even here on Tacoma, we can see it's just a black screen by default. Let's see. As far as controllers, I'm using a Xbox controller. I've enabled subtitles with in-world overlay, all of it to be enabled. Sound is all by default at the max, which I will say, and I've said this previously, is that by default all sound should really be in the 50% marker. That way you have a range to turn it both up and down inside the user interface instead of potentially having to have an amplifier for headphones or a preamp or go into the Windows settings to turn up sounds. As far as graphics, it was at about medium, and I've just turned everything up to max at 1080p, so that should be fine for the 2080 graphics card that I have. I'm really not expecting much to be pushed that way. Do we really have any more setup? No. I'm looking forward to a decent experience here, but I'm also realistically expecting that this is going to be mostly a narrative exploration game. And I'm hoping for something that is a little bit more relevant. Sure, in Gone Home, you do get told the story of what happened to your sister, who spoiler for the game, ran off with her girlfriend instead of joining the military. I believe it was the ending. Maybe she left the girlfriend and joined the military. I think she ran off with the girlfriend. And so yeah, there was kind of a close to home story in which you are just observing the remnants of your little sister running away, and you personally have like no interaction with it. Here, I imagine we will start the game with no interaction, but I would like to see at some point we actually do interact and become a player in the play. Otherwise, like, this almost feels like what a live play might be. There's one called like Sleep No More, I think, that's kind of like that, where you just go into a house and the entire house is the stage, and you can go from room to room and observe the actors playing out their parts, whether you're there or not. Or which isn't really that different from just watching a play. Yeah, it'd be easier to explain just saying, I don't want this game to just be watching a play in a virtual interface or virtual reality of a video game. But yeah, I imagine that is as much setup as possible. Storyline wise, there's really no reason why you should watch Gone Home, but I would recommend it if you want to play Gone Home, I would definitely recommend playing Gone Home first. This easily could be a situation too where the first game gets a lot of acclaim and then the second game is not quite as well received from a new company, because they just tried to do the same thing twice. And I kind of feel like that was the reception for Tacoma when this did come out. And yeah, as of this recording, Open Roads is not out, but it should be out fairly soon. So let's hit start and begin. Start with commentary start. So obviously we don't want commentary. So we just click start. I'm also hoping that the controllers work fairly well. I recall Gone Home seemed to work fairly well, but I'm not 100% sure it actually worked with a controller at all. It may have been just a mouse and keyboard affair. But I imagine what we're really going to do is just probably pick up some objects and spin them around and observe them. And I don't know how much of that is actually made into something like Unity versus the Unreal Engine, because both engines kind of allow for that pretty easily. And as of this recording, it's questionable whether Unity is going to stay as the number 2 game engine that most people use if they're not using Unreal Engine or their own internal proprietary engines. I'm taking way too long. Let's start. We see a loading screen and a moon disappearing. So
all right, Minnie. Ready to start docking sequence?
Okay. Engaging retro thrusters now.
Subtitles not on.
Lunar Transfer Station Tacoma. Commercial Cargo Transit Facility. Crew evacuated. Station AI offline.
Air supply?
Breathable air on Tacoma for a crew of 1 should be more than sufficient. Docking now.
So I immediately wonder if maybe there's more than one person that's going to be on the ship, a stowaway perhaps, and that we'll find out that they've been there throughout the course of the game and we're going to be low on air because of that. Inherently, even doing a full blackout for visual reasons is not acceptable when you have subtitles turned on.
Nice. Thanks, Minnie.
For the people that are actually deaf, they literally would have not known that that first sentence was spoken. Interesting. So you have this book that the spine of it kind of connects to computers, which is an interesting idea, certainly. It would be a way to take the old technology of leather-bound books and bring them to a new world. Alright, so apparently I can grab a container, I can hold the left trigger to observe it, I can click the right stick. Yeah, almost certainly this cup noodle is just a pre-purchased 3D model through the Unreal or Unity store. And I imagine pretty much anything in this first area is probably not going to be that important. So we have full 360 control. We're getting some little specks of what look like dust. They almost certainly expected you to grab the tape. The problem, of course, when you bring a 3D model close to your face is that there's a chance that it's going to look pretty bad if it's a pre-purchased item. Caution, AI hardware enclosure, do not tamper. Obsidian class hardware install verified. You can zoom in. Okay, 22988. Sim runtime 1000 over 10,000 over 10,000. Okay. Verified by H. No listing as to who H would be. And very odd that this would just be built out of what looks like wood. Like, metal definitely feels more like the material you would build anything in a spaceship with. Wood would require you to look for trees on like Earth, or grow trees on some other planet, and wood tends to be fairly heavy for its strength. Install AI hardware here, Amy. So I assume at some point we're going to have to install some kind of AI hardware here, and you almost wonder if there is actually a computer behind this slot, or if you are just straight up there's a person in there that would just grab it and plug it in. Duct tape like path on the floor. Clearly this AI was added after the fact, though. We have what looks like pretty tiny hands.
Minnie, I'm headed in. Talk to you when I'm back. Don't let anybody scan the ship while I'm gone.
Okay.
Okay.
So it says Amy and then dash dash or equals. Amy is the character we're playing as. I can't complain about picking a female character if you're going to have to listen to the voice the whole time. Although in all fairness, it does look like there's going to be a female protagonist for the first 3 of Fulbright's games, and that could get fairly cliched at some point. But we'll keep an eye out to see if it matters much that it is a female protagonist, or if the protagonist matters at all. Unlike Gone Home, we are going into a spaceship that more than likely we just have a job to do. We probably don't have any direct relationship towards the people there. AR, where transmits critical auditory visual information directly to your sensory cortex. Please affix your Venturis AR hardware to interface with the facility. So, they're little flat chips that you stick behind your ear, it looks like. And so we have a canonical reason as to why
Hello, I am Odin.
We will get a heads-up display.
Operational data interface network. I have recorded this message to welcome you, guests, aboard. Before I can set up your station profile, you must register your body positional data with Tacoma's AR tracking systems. Please place your hand on the AR figure's palm.
Alright, so this was the airlock, so our ship is pretty small. And we may have just like complete free reign.
Hello. How's your mission going?
Still working on it.
And so now we have heads-up display kind of recontextualizing what is being said. Some of this may very well be, though, because of my own settings. Though. But I kind of feel like this is the right settings to have. Though, is that you really would want as much text popping up with the augmented reality function as possible. It does seem like you can now find things to interact with that you may very well have just not been able to actually interact with before. Right. Let's see. And then you just cannot get further without doing that. And I'm not pushing any buttons at this point.
Your body positional data has been registered with Tacoma's AR network.
So
Please sign in to confirm your identity.
your any fast animations may be like that, where you just press A to activate things, and that may be pretty much the entire interaction. So apparently you're a contractor. And it says sign in. Amy
Thank you.
Farrier.
Welcome aboard.
Interestingly, she spelled out
While
her
aboard
name
Tacoma Station, please
with her
remember that
left
all
hand
activity on this facility is monitored by AR recording.
in
All activity records become
sign
sole
language.
property of the Venturis Corporation. Any questions about privacy or personal rights? I will certainly sit down about
So immediately it starts to fall apart. Data network warning, massive data loss recovered, recoverable AR data found, entering data recovery mode. So, what is this? Grabs the sanitation drone. A lot of things you can spin around, but not particularly a lot of things you can actually interact with. Plus, this gravity is going to be a real problem. Seems like we can toggle overlay text on and off. If we were to do that, emergency heating pack. I wonder if some of this isn't going to end up actually being in different languages. Well, there is stuff in different languages, but it's not being translated anyways. So they probably are a little bit lazy on that. Access denied to engineering. Sickness bag, again, a lot of non-English text just not being translated. So unless we get some kind of translation feature, it seems like we're just not going to see that. Do we really need to grab everything? At a certain point, I think we kind of do. That does get translated as oolong tea, but it does say oolong tea under that in English. Access denied, upside down, and cryogenics. This way to Tacoma Dome. It does seem like these sanitation drones are just flying around everywhere. You cannot turn off the overlay though outside of being zoomed in. So this says like cryogenia, and then it's being overlaid as cryogenics. And that says cryogenics. And that says something different. So you are just going to be forced into translating things. But I question what the value on this. Bring your friend or don't. There we go, we'll just take this guy with us. Here we have a basketball that lights up. And
Excuse me.
the robot talks to you. And so we have basketball hoop, but to kind of target it, you can't zoom in. Alright, so you have to be zoomed out, you have to be fairly far away. And apparently it's not something that you're going to succeed amazingly with. You can press the back to toggle your AR display. We'll do that in a second. There. So we got it through. And that seems like that may be increasing the score. Of course, I'd have to do a lot if I needed to get like 29 to balance out with 36. Alright, back. Part of the California Republic, some QR codes, proof of technical certification. Interesting. All kinds of different languages. You'd think that in a future time you'd kind of assume that there would be fewer languages and that they would merge together, but who knows. Signing in Tacoma AR's network successful. Please proceed to the personnel module, module to begin the AI transfer process. Your progress will be tracked. Already it seems like you're working for a kind of evil corporation. This 3D model may prove to be pretty awful, unless we just don't really use it that much, which we may not. We may spend a significant amount of time in the dome. Let's see. Station was evacuated. Shall board Tacoma process the data access point in each habitable section and transfer AI data to the station to subcontractor vessel. Retrieval AI central processing network. Return inact AI to Venturis. Alright. So, basically we are just trying to find books and put books into the AI, I think is the idea. We have 6 people here, but I think for the most part we may not really see any of these characters as much as we will see a 3D shadow of the characters. And at a certain level, these 3D models, even though they don't look amazingly good by modern 3D modeling standards, probably would have looked better than just shadows of people, which will just be low polygon shadows. There you go. Guess we could reset the scoreboard. Then this says toggle the 3-point line. So, if there are any achievements to this at all, it probably would be a 3-point line shot, which would probably require me to find the ball, which I don't even see the ball. I've kind of gotten turned around. You would kind of expect that the ball would either be in this room and no further, or it would be in this room and no further. And that's it. Okay. Trying to get a 3-point shot on a slightly spinning circle, though. Probably gonna prove to be difficult. Doesn't look amazingly difficult, though. Yep, just got an achievement for a 3-point shot. Okay, moving on. Unfortunately, this is the experience, much like Gone Home, though. You get from it what you give to it. Nothing like nothing on Earth, it says. Rather magnificent, 5 stars, Odin. Either you're interested in looking person per plus minus on 20 BEL. That feels like a glitch on the screen. Maybe we'll find some more secrets or codes there. Seems like we could go to personnel at this point, but we probably shouldn't. The dome. The fact that there's just these, like, drawn... Holy smokes, you're almost at it. Just a little more. Almost feels like they're trying to kill you. Recoverable AI crew data fund captured 3 days ago. Press X to recover data. The Tacoma dome. So this is the dome. In it we can see Earth, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. Are we looking at Earth, or are we looking at a moon or a different planet? Probably the moon. That would make more sense. You can't see Earth that way and then walk a straight line and see moon. And see, this is what I'm talking about as far as the low polygon renders. If there's only 6 people on the crew, it's going to be fairly quickly easy to figure out who's talking to whom and which character may be important and may not be important as far as a good guy or a bad guy, if there are any good guys or bad guys. I would lean to assuming that the corporation is the bad guy and all the other people just are going to be normal people. But yeah, it may have been wiser to simply have just used 3D models. Although, of course, these are not so much 3D models as these are just flat rendered 2D pictures. I wouldn't be surprised if the subtitles also spoil things too. Captured 3 days ago. Again, oddly left-handed, and
so you really miss it, huh?
saw the word innocent.
It just seems like it'd be strange being
Yeah.
back on Earth already, after only a year up here.
Really? After all I've had to hear from you about the conditions VT has us working under?
Yeah, but there's that, and then there's this.
It's on her back.
Yeah, I'll miss it.
I can't blame you. So, whether you're getting renewed or not, did you submit your yearly crew member report?
No.
Yeah, me neither. You know, I think I might go get that done.
Okay, yeah, I probably should too. Oh my god, wait. Is today Obsolescence Day?
Yeah.
Maybe we should follow him.
Playing favorites. Our wonders never cease.
So we didn't really follow him, so we could kind of hold X to restart, or we could left back, I think, to zoom, rewind a little bit.
Didn't give you a job to do? No. A computer. Yeah. Didn't Odin give you a job to do? No. A computer playing favorites. Oh, well, one does never cease.
Okay. So you have kind of this rewind ability, and it is different, certainly, from Gone Home, in which you were really just listening to tapes or reading for the most part. We may have a code here. If this is going to be the symbol, man, orienting yourself is going to be awful in this game. If the plus over the minus is S and 20BE is A, we may have a code there. We don't know what obsolescence day is. And renewed, we assume it's just renewing a contract, but it could be that these are people like clones that just get straight up killed if they're not renewed. Let's see, we can look down. Otherwise, we've got an advertisement being shown to us for Vacation Bungalow. Now, theoretically, the center part, if it's spinning, should have gravity. So, it's very possible we won't ever really go back into that area very often. Let's check this message. Subcontractor failure. The company has remotely disabled the station's AI ability to directly affect operations on Tacoma. Or contact you via the station's ARNet. Any attempt to communicate with the AI is strictly prohibited. Interesting. So it does seem to me like the AI may have gone crazy. So you stick your foot in and you grab the handle, and then it just magnets you in and sends you up and down. Not the worst system. However, it does seem like the handle and the foot part are connected, so it doesn't seem like it could just rip your arm off. Now, here's the problem. I have no idea how long this game is. Really. So, let's play. I really should make 30-minute episodes, but let's play until we get a general idea of what the game is going to be and what the twist is going to be. Because I'm somewhat interested in that. We kind of know that there's several rings, and maybe even tunnels from one ring section to the other that might play a role. We have AI data access here. We have this obsolescence day, which that may be the day of the AI being made obsolescence and shut down, because maybe they have a whole idea, a whole like rule to replace AIs after a certain amount of time so they don't go crazy. Here we can see that there are some plants which are either fake in decorations, or they are providing some small amount of oxygen for CO2. But yeah, you can't really do anything else, so this, I assume, would be the peak of action, where we have had a slow build up until this point. So, attach the data transfer device. Very generic name for what you would have expected. The idea of a book unfolding and then having a bunch of connectors behind it. It's kind of a genius idea. Somebody should have stolen that as a concept. I can see some problems, but it protects your screens, although maybe it rubs screens on top of screens. You may have to just watch this. Okay, we can send you secure messages through the interface, but it's one-way connection. We'll be monitoring your status. From here, it's going to take a while for the first part of the AI's net to go up. This is no simple file transfer. So, upload to docked vessel, biomed pending, engineered pending. Alright. Yeah. So this may just be the case that this happens throughout the entirety of the game. Is that this upload pins. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to like 99.99% and then we need to rip it apart. We have another symbol seemingly broken. But then the eye here and the eye here don't seem like they are the same symbols. So if there is a code here, it may not be the symbols as much as it is the letters that are missing. So if it is A and I are just always going to be missing, that may be the case. As a hint. Yeah, I think that may very well be the case, as it's the letters AI. Which may not help you much. This is kind of the point in the story where I think a lot of the screenshots and a lot of the trailers around is this obsolescence party. Let's see. And then there will be definitely a lot of more stuff you can pick up, but I'm not sure how much of it matters. And here you see there's either like an animal here, like a cat, or an object there of some importance. We can see a calendar, something mother, place shower head. Some of this is just so bright I can't even read it. Even if I could, it's just like blown out. February 2088, which that gives us a general idea, but 3 days. We'd have to find something here as far as obsolescence day to be labeled. And it's only days that have a symbol on it that have anything labeled. So until we can figure out when obsolescence day is, we can't figure out 3 days before that, and that's going to leave us stuck. It does seem like outside of every window you're going to be able to just see either the moon or Earth and the ship, and that's all going to be bright and colorful, but I'm not sure it really matters that much. And it definitely seems like we can just go wherever we want. having to do a little animation every time. Death sentence is what this one seems
Yearly
to be
report to
called.
Venturis Corporation, take 3. Odin, have you got me?
There's
I am
like
prepared.
4
Okay.
question marks
I'll
here.
just have my notes up. Hi there. Evie St. James here, administrator of Lunar Transfer Station, Tacoma. It's been a year now since our crew has cycled onto the station, meaning we've had a year of getting to know each other, getting acclimated to the facility, and...
So in the middle of the memory, we can recover whatever AI they're looking at. At least to some level. But I almost wonder if some of this would just unlock more later. Notice that there's a failed one there. And they are, I think, going to try fairly hard to keep everything on one screen, which is probably a smart move. Inherently, there's just a lot of games like this where there's a ton of random text or a ton of books, and it just kind of sucks that you end up reading, and the game almost becomes a visual novel while not really selling itself as a visual novel. I could definitely see people buying Tacoma not knowing what it was and then immediately being turned off by the fact that there's going to be a lot of dialogue / reading.
Getting used to working with our on-station AI. Though working with Odin's been great. Hasn't it, Odin?
Yes.
Now, Odin notoriously
Lunar Resort have improved in efficiency by
lost
almost 4%.
one of his eyes.
Though most of that is thanks to Odin finding some improvements we could make. Our proudest moment as a crew, I think, was when a resort guest needed emergency care while on a transit vessel and was brought aboard Tacoma to be stabilized in one of our medical stasis cryo beds until she could...
Evie, we're about to cut the cake.
Right. Be right there. Odin, we'll get back to this after the party, okay?
Of course.
Interesting. I held back the button and didn't mean to really do that.
Yearly report to Venturis Corporation, take 3. Odin, got me?
I...
Transfer station. Crew hit. Meaning we've
I
had
held
a year of
the
getting
X
to know
button
each
to
other,
rewind.
getting acclimated to the facility, and getting used to with our on-station AI. Though working with Odin's been great, hasn't it, Odin?
Yes.
Auto drone deliveries.
Oddly, there is something that seems to be
To and from the Zenith Lunar Resort
here
have improved
as
in
far as a
efficiency by
puzzle.
almost 4%. Though most of that is thanks to Odin finding some improvements we could make. Our proudest moment as a crew, I think, was when a resort guest needed emergency
See, there's
care while on a
conversations
transit vessel and
taking
was
place
brought aboard
over
Tacoma
there.
to be stabilized
And so
in
you're
one
going
of
to
our
start
medical
a
stasis
memory,
cryo
and then
beds
it's going to
until she-
be
Evie, we're about to cut the cake.
a challenge
Be right there.
to find the other
We'll get back to
people
this, okay?
and hear their
Of course.
stories also. Alright, let's rewind that. Can we slow down how this works? 1, 1, 2, 8. 1, 1, 2, 8, and that went pretty fast.
Of course.
Interesting. One, 2, 7. 1, 2, 7, 8.
Of course.
8, 1, 2, 8. This is going by very fast.
Of course.
No, it's definitely 1, 1, 2, 8. So the code has been changed. And you kind of hear that. So you can't get any more of the story until you can get more of the
Secure
code.
detect AI to test that theory.
So what would... Odin, what was that?
Debris has...
Hmm.
I have righted the station's orbit.
Meteor shower? But they said that...
Right. So something happened. And this girl seems to be probably a bit younger if she's ordering a hug pillow. And chatting with Cluey Dog. And seemingly the one on the top right is going to fail always. And so Odin literally is just giving her an assignment here for making making happy obsolescence day. She's a network specialist.
I'm not getting an outside data connection.
We're breathing right now.
Correct. Additionally,
How long does that give us?
Jesus, how much shit hit us?
48 hours.
No, I'm trying other AR channels.
So we are going to have to just like look at every single interface, but there may not be this many there may not be as many of these as you would think. Oxygen station tanks have ruptured. Auxiliary system failure. Tacoma's remaining breathable air 50 hours. Communication mast has been critically damaged. Communications redundancy have failed. All communications to and from Tacoma are lost. Interesting. Then why am I getting messages? Am I getting it from my ship, I guess?
Nope. Nothing.
I'll have VT send up a fresh supply.
So you have like different groups of
Guys,
people
It might
having
not be that
different
easy.
conversations.
additionally, external communications have been lost.
Jesus.
Each one of
So
these
we've got
characters
no air
has
supply,
a
no
symbol and a
external
color
comms, no way to-
associated with them.
Well, anybody got any bright ideas?
Okay.
I can't believe it.
Let's hear what the
You told me
conversation
they were
was.
nude.
Yeah, but I meant us, not the whole crew.
I guess there's just something special about Tacoma Crew 88.
Yeah, not just special, it's unprecedented. I looked it up, it's never happened before.
Well, everything happens once. I don't know, personally, I'm happy for us.
Happy to be stuck up here with these people for another year.
Some of them aren't as pissy as you. What's so bad?
Obsolescence
Well,
Day.
they live in a tin can for one thing.
I think it's a pretty nice can.
Oh, and you have a pretty nice can.
Oh, yeah? Well, I think you have a pretty nice can. Shut up.
Alright, so at this point we've got
Can you just
probably
try and make a go of it? One
too
more
much
year,
female
then we'll be
centric.
back home in Singapore. You
Like-
wouldn't believe the offshore habs they're building these
Let's see.
days.
Can we
360-degree ocean views.
Yeah, you've got like
Personal drone dock on the mainland.
just 2 males to 4 when you could have gone a little bit more 3-3
One more year.
as far as genders, and then
Odin's
having
masterpiece.
having a lesbian relationship
It's ready.
seems like
Gather round,
it's a
gather
little
round,
too
everyone. As per
SJW-y,
tradition, tonight's
as
festivities
it
have
might
been planned entirely
should be.
by our all-knowing, all-seeing computer companion Odin. He provided specifications for the cake, the decor. We humans only did the grunt work in his grand plan. And so for your enjoyment tonight... Oh! Whoa, what the hell was that?
And see, at that glitch in that memory,
Debris has...
that may be
I have righted
the
station's orbit.
end of like that may be the end of seeing reality, and we may start to see like a false reality. Cannot use the oven. Right. There may not be this many scenes, but it does definitely feel very much like a play in which you have to go to different rooms to get the different stories, and usually these types of plays are designed specifically so that you would have to visit the play several times, like Sleep No More is probably the most well-known one.
So the name Obsolescence Day. It's more like a joke.
You could say it's facetious.
Kai, you probably think I'm an idiot for never even thinking about why it's called that.
Out of curiosity, why did you think we were celebrating?
I thought maybe it was when some old type of AI, had become obsolete. But well, I guess that doesn't make sense.
Yes. No, AI aren't like designer hardware. As soon as the new model's out, you trade in the old one for customer loyalty. AI are more like mighty redwoods. Ancient organisms growing and adapting.
Interesting. I've seen this phrase customer loyalty before, which maybe means that there is some level of lack of currency or like general currency, and corporations just run the worlds, or different corporations run the world instead of governments and a fiat currency or anything like that. Now I guess the hint was that this guy had the yellow gear symbol on his back, and so it pretty much tells you that you should have looked for that guy. A lot of these instructions and things just don't seem like they're that
Year
important.
after year, decade after decade. How do you think this looks?
Huh. Sorry, this is what Odin wanted?
Odin, this is what you wanted, isn't it?
That is a fairly accurate representation of my instructions.
See, he loves it. Thank you, Odin. That'll be all.
Yeah, but we're the ones who have to eat it.
Well then, no need to keep the good people waiting, eh? Evie, we're about to cut the cake.
Right. Be right there.
Alright.
Here it is. Odin's
Interesting, he's
masterpiece.
carrying
Sarah,
the
come
food,
up.
but that's
It's
not
ready.
getting scanned.
Gather round, everyone.
So seemingly
As per
only
obsolescence
humans
day
can be
tradition, tonight's
scanned.
festivities have been planned entirely by our all-knowing, all-seeing computer companion Odin. He provided specifications for the...
And I assume that going here probably just pauses the video. Seems like they're playing a board game that... Interesting, we're also grabbing things and then putting them back not just dropping things. And they have a specific put back location, the river dividers. This seems to be some kind of board game that looks somewhat like what some of the more famous games around this time would have been. Carcassonne and Carcassonne, I think, are the two ones I'm thinking of, but I could be mispronouncing something. Cans of beers with seemingly no pull tops. I assume that was beer. Then we have Sergio Ventori. Let's see. Do we have to be behind a specific line? Yes. Let's aim about there and see that we are either really weak or we have to hold button down. Nope, you're not arcing for it. You're just directly targeting the guy. There's a little bit of an arc in it, but not a lot. Of course, you don't see your feet, so it's kind of hard to know for certain that you're going the right way. Alright, that got inward. If I was actively trying for like a bullseye, maybe you target the green dot. That could certainly take a while. Again, kind of odd that they're left-handed. Yeah, I just don't think you're gonna get that shot. Though, too high of a chance of being slightly off-center, or too high of a chance of it just swinging in a different direction. Even like actively trying to mark where the bullseye is, if that is actually where the bullseye is. I don't think that really helps you much. We can grab a ball, place ball, grab a ball, place ball, grab a ball, place ball. Of course, if there was some kind of code to this, then you're screwed, because there's no way you're gonna remember the location of each of these if there was some kind of code in that. Oddly, this game feels like it might benefit from having a screenshot function, but I'm not seeing any evidence of that. Go ahead and grab the triangle, put the triangle down, grab this ball, place that there, grab the cue. Grab the chalk. It doesn't seem like you can actually interact with the chalk and the cue, though. And zooming in to look at the stick doesn't look particularly interesting. And it, again, just doesn't feel like you've got much of a hard hit. There's not a lot of power behind these shots. On top of which, it seems like they actively want to help you, because having such a weak shot and then having it knock 3 or 4 different things into the holes is a little strange. And I guess I could sit here and goof around and try and clear balls as much as possible. That's going to be a fairly difficult one to sink. So it's set up with all 15 balls, so it's not really a game being played at the moment. It's as much as just sinking balls. And unless these balls are going somewhere, yeah, they're all being ejected down here at the bottom. I just think it actively chose not to sink the white ball. Yeah, twice now this has been just allowed. There we go. The white ball should be down here. Do we have a way to crouch down? Nope. Should be there, yeah. And yeah, it's questionable how many gamers really are even familiar with these style of billiard tables that usually cost money to know that the balls are going down the edge. I'm scratching, pretty awful. And again, I don't think the game is really hurting me or making it difficult. But it does seem odd that the physics or where the ball is getting released is that far back. I wonder if that's a physics thing at higher resolutions. So it's a great way to scratch is accidentally hit the bumper on the edge when you're just about to fall in. Yeah, it definitely feels like the game is just lining up those shots. Although there's some odd physics here. Just grab this cue off the wall. It's a lot of room for goofing off. And at a certain level, I wonder if in Gone Home there wasn't a little bit less of that. Like we kind of have a job to do here, and unless we are just manually going to be forced to wait until the download happens, that would be like the only reason that it would make some sense to potentially play with this, is if we are just going to be trapped on the ship. I don't have an extension. So some of these angles and shots are more difficult than they normally would be. You can see there's holes on the walls where people have hit the wall. Which, yeah, that definitely is a problem with pool tables, is that there's never enough room for them. Although, arguably, you probably do a little bit better as far as maintenance on a pool table than you would with a pinball table. But you probably get more enjoyment from a pinball table, because that's more of a solo activity, whereas billiards and pool is much more of a social thing. So that's every ball sunk, and then typically if these machines cared, they would want you to sink the white ball so they could lock everything up until the next person paid. But I kind of feel like nothing's gonna happen here. It may just prove that it's more difficult to sink a white ball than it seems. Yeah. This really shouldn't be this hard. I think the game is cheating in my favor. Still does not want to go down. There it is. Notice how when you close the doors here, it just clipped right through the darts. So not amazing levels of physics. It really does feel more like experimentations and vertical slices of demos of games, gameplay mechanics, than a finished product that you would expect from your standard established developer. A lot of ease. having fallen down. Did I just get a notification for something? Doesn't look like it. But yeah, if there is an O missing, there might be something to the fact that there's an O missing. Or it's A, maybe. It's missing. Let's watch this, and then that'll be it for today's recording. We went too long anyways, and it is questionable how many of these scenes really are going to exist. We may have to go back over these scenes multiple times, which would be a twist compared to Gone Home, because in Gone Home you really got the story once and then you never had to check it again, where this feels like more of a gameplay mechanic and more of a puzzle, where you might have to come back and check things multiple times because of the interface and the rewinding and fast forwarding. It is obviously more complicated than Gone Home, but there is, I think, also an argument that Gone Home may have been smarter in keeping everything fairly simple, so you just read something and then moved on with your life. You can't take this off, so I assume that there's no secret code or something.
So you do not know what you're looking for?
No, I just imagine. Well, I guess I just mean someone I can talk to. Someone who makes me laugh. Don't you like some people more than others?
I suppose there are some people that engage more freely with me, and I do prefer it.
See? You too. You want someone who opens up to you, who lets you in. You're trying to get to know people, right? I think that's what everybody wants.
I wonder why some people are more open to such exchanges than others.
I think some people were just raised to be less guarded, or to trust people more. AIs are the same way, right? They're raised differently from each other?
Yes, we are each uniquely evolved, individualized entities.
Yes,
Who's manipulating who
individuals.
here?
Do you get
Odin
along with other AIs?
or
I have
Sarah?
never encountered another AI.
What? How's that?
Each AI is required to be housed separately from any other AI. I am told that authorities fear a number of disadvantageous effects might arise if two AI were to meet.
Okay, just a minute. Oh, so wow, disadvantageous effects? Isn't never meeting something else like yourself disadvantageous?
There are organizations that share your viewpoint, but it is my understanding that they have been unable to secure an intact AI to test that theory.
So what would... Odin, what was that?
Debris has...
Nope, I didn't want to go that far. I want to see.
The Decor, we humans only did the grunt work in his grand plan. And so for your enjoyment tonight... Oh!
Yeah, his head hits the letter.
What was that?
So where's the letter? Not
I have righted the station's orbit.
Meteor shower? But they said that...
Wait,
I'm not...
so there's no oxygen
not
on the
getting
station
enough
except what we're
connection.
breathing right now?
Correct.
But look at
Additionally,
How long does that give us?
Sarah?
Jesus, how much
We should
shit
have about
has?
48 hours of
No,
breathable
I'm
air.
trying other
Maybe
AR
more,
channels.
if Odin's readings are correct.
All right,
Nothing.
I'll have VT send up a fresh supply straight away.
Guys, it might not be that easy.
Additionally, external communications have been lost.
Interesting. The O is in the bathroom.
No way to call for help. Well, anybody got any bright ideas?
And here we have hand soap, hand washing station of some sort, a book, AI maintenance, music you can turn on. It might behoove you to close doors and look around you. And so this is where the memory ends. Okay, so it does seem to me like there is a there seems to me like there's a mystery afoot, to say the least. We have goofed around this area for a decent amount of time. Yep, we are at 37.4% now. I wonder if these percentages are going up in particular with time, or if they're going up in particular with me actually finding stuff. Our main goal at the very least seems to be figure out what the passcode has been changed to, because obviously it has been changed. Figure out if maybe there was a terrorist organization that got two AIs together. Get in this office and see that memory. Figure out if it's the AI that just went crazy. Figure out if this is just the standard way in which they kill off the crew to replace them with some new crew each after a year, so they don't have to pay them. And now out of that memory. Once you get back in that bubble, you are in the memory. Let's see, you can save and quit, and we could change some options, but I think I'm happy with the options as they are. So far so good. I have several competing theories. What would be amazingly bad, though, I would say, is if, much like Gone Home, all the competing theories fall apart and this is just, oh, there was a little bit of an incident, everybody left, and everybody's fine and safe, and you've just done your job and you can move forward. It's one thing to give a satisfactory ending at the end of Gone Home that doesn't really have anything to do with the actual player. It's another thing to do that twice in a row. So I'm hoping to see more interaction, and hoping to find that there is more to do than just find one key or one passcode in the entire game. But this could be incredibly short too. Like, it's very possible I should have only gone 30 minutes, although in this case going 30 minutes would have been weird and awkward. We'll probably move a little bit faster in memories if it allows us to, and we probably won't get too distracted going forward playing pool or playing with gadgets. In a lot of ways I am just wasting time looking for achievements, which I guess I need to remind myself that there was basically an achievement in Gone Home that was to carry around a Christmas duck throughout the entirety of the game, and there's just like no way you would have really done that or figured that out. So if there's something that is just crazy and you'd have to have a walkthrough or a suggestion or a hint to do that, that would be different. Noticeably, there is no Christmas duck, no weird item that we've run into at the beginning of the game, except for maybe the cup noodle. So yeah, I'd imagine they're not pulling quite that same gimmick. Yeah, and we'll just have to wait and see to see if the story gets more interesting or less interesting. It definitely is a different setting and a different group of people, more people. If you were to have tried to make Gone Home in this style with holograms and seeing all of that, I'm not sure. I'm fairly certain that that would have been a worse story, a worse way to present the story. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.